Hello everyone, welcome to Matrix Engineers. In our last previous video, we have seen different networking devices like Cisco switch, Cisco router, Cisco ASA firewall. Guys, we have seen how to connect console cable to Cisco device and the computer for accessing device physically. So when you need to configure networking devices like a Cisco switch, you use a console cable. You have seen how to connect console cable to console port and plug it to your computer. Then after you have seen how you can navigate to device manager and you go to port, COM and the RPT, and you see the COM that you're going to use for serial connection. Guys, after now in this video we are going to do different basic configurations of Cisco switches, but at the first let me show you how to connect Cisco device to computer using console cable. After that, we will continue with the packet tracer and do basic configurations of Cisco switch. Guys, let us start. Guys, this is the console cable and the router. This is the port. This is the Ethernet interface that you connect to the console port. You see console port here. This is a console cable. You connect it to the console port. You see, you connect it here on the console port. This is a networking device, so we need it to access it through UI. You see now at the other end we have USB. So we connect it to our computer on USB port, you see. So guys, after connecting this, have to check on device manage. You see on the device manage, we have a port. You see here, this is the COM port, COM and the RPT. So you click on it. You see we have COM3, USB serial COM3. After connecting that, we get that COM3. So you have to open PuTTY. PuTTY is a 3. You can download it. PuTTY. You see, I have it. So now you have to move here to serial. You see now we have a COM1, but you have to use what we have here, COM3. So you delete this one and you add 3. You write a 3 and you open. You see, after opening you press enter. You see now we are in user mode where we can start to configure this router. Guys, this is how we connect the console cable from a computer to Cisco networking device when we need to do configuration. So after that, the other things we are going to do it using a packet tracer. I will show you how to connect console cable in a packet tracer from a PC to switch. Thank you. Let us continue on packet tracer. Guys, now you have seen how to connect a console cable to Cisco switch or any networking device and the computer for starting to do configurations of your switch or other networking device. So now we are going to start using a packet tracer. So this is packet tracer. So now, as you see, it asks to log in, but you can if you have an account on netacard.com for Cisco, you can log in, but let's continue with guest login. When you click on guest login, you have to wait some seconds. You see, you have to wait some seconds, and you confirm you are going to log in as guest. So now you see I have to confirm. Now we are going to do basic configuration of switch. This is a router, this is a switch, this is a hub, this is a different access point, this is a Cisco ASA firewall, this is cloud where we find the frame relay, digital subscribe modem, and cable modem. So guys, we are going to start with a switch. Let's use this switch catalyst 2960, and you have to bring computer. This is a computer. You can choose PC, laptop, server, Melax. So we are going to use this PC. So guys, you have seen I was using a console cable. So here we have a console cable. This is where we find the cables. This is console cable. You see, when we click here and we come to console, suppose imagine this is a console cable. You are going to connect to console port. After that, you bring that USB to your computer and you choose this RS232. So guys, now we are going to enter into our PC. You see, after entering into your PC, you came to desktop and you come to the terminal. We're going to access our switch through terminal. So after reaching here, you leave these default configurations or this default detail without changing anything. So you see now we access the Cisco switch. So now let's maximize. So here to start, press return to get started. You press enter. You see copyright Cisco Systems Incorporation. So you press enter. You see we have a switch here. We are in user mode. So now we are going to enter into user execution privilege mode. We use enable command. Enable. So now we move to user execution mode with this pound sign. So now we are going to move to user configuration mode. We use this command configure terminal. This command is going to allow us to move to user configuration mode. So now you see we are in user configuration modes. So now we are going to change the default name of our host switch. Let's call it matrix. For example, we use this command host name matrix. You see the name have changed. So this is the command that we use for changing the device name. So now we are going to configure message of the day, what you call multi-D banner. So let's configure multi-D. It is a message that you can get when you are trying to access any Cisco devices. So we are going to configure this banner, message of the day, multi-D. For example, let's use authorized access only. For example, then we press enter. You will see after getting out of this device. So now we are going to enable the secret for execution mode. When you want it to enter, suppose that you are here on user mode, you need to move to user execution mode. The password will be required when you enable the password. So we use enable secret. For example, this enable secret, you can use a secret or you can use enable password, but secret help us to encrypt the password. It doesn't display the password in plain text. While when you use enable password and the password will not be encrypted, you will see. So enable secret, for example, Cisco. You see, enable secret Cisco. So now this password will be used when you are in user mode and you need to move to user privilege execution mode. So now we are going to configure the line. For example, the line that you use for accessing networking device like a Cisco switch, ASA, or router. For example, you have seen that you connected the cable to a console cable to the switch and to the computer. When you need to access the device, the password will be required. So we use line console, for example 0, it is for one user, and say we use this command to set password. Let's use a Cisco again, Cisco. After entering the password, then login. So then exit. So after that, we are going. This password is for accessing the login. It is the login authentication for console access. When you are going to access device using console cable, you will be required to enter that password. So we are going to move to Rhine VTY. For example, you have a different building and you are a network administrator in a different building, and the switch are not located in your switch, even it is in a server room. You need to access it remotely, or you are out of office, you are at home, you can access your device remotely. So we use Rhine VTY. So we are going to set that Rhine VTY. Use this command. For accessing that, you can use Telnet or SSH. Telnet or SSH. SSH is more secure because it's secure share, but for Telnet is terminal emulator. It doesn't provide security. So let's use Rhine VTY 04. It means that it allows user from 1 up to 5. So Rhine VTY 04. You can also 015, no problem. So let's set password. password Cisco login, and then exit. When you try to access a device remotely, the password will be required in order to get access. So now what you are going to do, you are going to configure the execution timeout. So execution, to set the execution timeout, it's for the to set the execution timeout, for example, for console line, it will help you to know, for example, if you are not interacting with a terminal about 5 minutes, the session will be closed automatically. It is like to set lock screen on a computer. When you spend like 2 minutes without using your computer, it is going to be locked. So even when you are not interacting with a terminal, the terminal will be closed. Terminal session will be closed. So let's set that on line console, for example. Line con, you can use line con or line console. Console 04. Let's use line con. You can see line con 04. What's a problem? For line, for console, we use 0 only. One user. So after that, you're going to set that time. So the command that set that time for locking or closing session automatically when you spend like 5 minutes without interacting with your terminal, the session will be closed automatically. We use this command: exec timeout, exec timeout 5 minutes 0 second. You see, then we exit. So now we are going to configure the logging synchronous. For logging synchronous, for example, when there is a log message, the log message will not interrupt your command input. So let's configure that. Line con 0. So let's set that logging. Use this command: logging synchronous. Sorry, there is some error. Logging synchronous. You see, now then we exit. So now we are going to disable the local IP domain lookup. So this is to disable the DNS lookup. It is for mistyped commands. This prevents you, for example, when you write this, sometimes when you write incorrect command, the switch or other device can try to search some things. But we have to disable using this command, no IP domain lookup. You see now? So this is for preventing the switch from attempting to resolve the mistyped as a host name. This prevents the unnecessary derives. So now what you're going to do, you're going to configure the username and password. So it's like creating a user and a password. When you try to access the device remotely, the authentication, to be authenticated, you will need to provide your username and password. So the command that you use is a username. Let's use a matrix, and password, let's use a Cisco. This password doesn't encrypt the password. Here you can also use a secret for security purpose. In a username matrix secret Cisco. This will be encrypted, but now it is in plain text. Let me show you. Do show line. You see, username matrix and password Cisco. Everyone can get that. But you see here where we use enable secret, it is encrypted. It is in MD5. So hostname matrix, no service password encryption. When we use this command service password encryption, it will encrypt everything, every password that are in plain text. So now what you are going to do, we are going to enable password encryption everywhere. So let's use service password encryption. Now every password is encrypted. Let's use do show line when you need to see the configurations. You see username matrix, password, you see now it is hashed. So now we are going to configure the current time and date. So we use here, we need to move from user configuration mode to user execution mode. So we do exit. So when you are here, we can use this command show line without starting with do show line. You see? But when we are in a configuration mode, we use do show line. When you don't start with a do, for example, when you use show line, it doesn't work. You have to start with a do show line. You see, it works. But when you are in user execute mode, you can use this show line. You see? So now it works. So we are going to set the current time and date. We use clock set. For example, we are going to use you see here we have a 60. We have a 6. Can use this clock set 6 with a 30 minutes, this with a 0 second. We are on January, no, we are in June 12 2024. You see, now it works. So now we are going to assign, we are going to configure the management IP address, to assign IP address to the interface. By default, Cisco switch have VLAN 1, virtual local area network 1. Show VLAN. You see, it has 1. So now let's assign it. We use this command. Let's move to configuration mode. So use interface VLAN 1. So IP address, it's 192.168. For example 1.2. Let's add subnet mask 255.255.255.0, for example, and shut down. Then exit. So now after assigning this IP address, we activate the interface of VLAN 1, which is switch virtual interface. So we are going to configure the default gateway. So default, to set the default gateway, it is used for routing traffic to other networks. So let's set it. So we use this command, IP default gateway. Let's use this IP 192.168.1. For example, let's use .2. No, let's use .1. You see now? So after that, what you're going to do, you're going to configure the domain name. How we can configure the domain name? So let's use the command that we use is IP domain name, and the domain name that you need to add. For example, let's use matrix.com as domain name. So now we are going to, I'm going to show you how we can view the learning configurations. So let's use, you can use show this command, learning config. So as I told you before, you can use do when you need it to, when you are in user configuration mode. We start with a do show learning config. You see now it works. But when you are in user privilege execution mode, use show learning config. You see, you don't need to start with a do show learning config. So when you need to save the configurations, you use a copy learning config and the startup config. You see, press enter. You see now. So after saving this learning config, we can exit. We can try to exit. Let's exit. You see now we exit our switch. Let's try to enter into our switch. You see that message of the day, multi-D banner authorized access only, and you know you have it to user access verification, so you have it to provide the password. You know it is a Cisco. Now you see we are in user mode where we can't do anything, we can't modify anything, so use enable. Here remember that we set the password enable secret Cisco. Here we are going to provide also the password Cisco. You see now, this is where you can modify, you can view different things. Guys, do subscribe. Thank you for watching. The next video will be showing you many things about enterprise network on the level of switch. Thank you guys. Do subscribe. We will finish all from Cisco switch to Cisco switch, Cisco router, Cisco ASA, where we create a VPN tunnels on Cisco ASA on security level, where we can create we will create a VPN tunnels in PRS. We do many things. Guys, do subscribe. Thank you for watching.